MavericksWholesale.com. I'm here today to show you how to put together our 500cc Wolverine the proper way. Also, your 700cc Wolverine will go together the same way that we assemble this one here. You need a number 10 socket and ratchet and a number 13 wrench to take this whole crate off. After you remove all your bolts out of your frame, you really need two people, but one person can actually remove all of the structure from around this thing. Just pick her up and grab it to the center. Good to go. Over here we laid out our hood, our windshield top, roll bars, bed panel, tires and wheels, front bumper, seats, battery box, and the bottoms of the seats. Everything laying on our table here is all the bolts and nuts that you need to put your unit together. As you can see, it really ain't a whole lot. We separate everything out to where we know what everything is and where it's real easy to get to. Right here, you got an extra CVT boot for your front and your rear, and some extra clamps for them if one would ever wear out. And we also send you extra hood straps. The hood straps would wear out in the unit. And this is your receiver hitch. It slides right into the back of your unit, and a standard receiver hitch will slide right over this receiver hitch and work. Yeah. Right now I'm removing all the lug nuts, and I removed the top shock bolts, lay them up here on top. After you get that done, we're going to install our shocks. Alright, you want to make sure that you put this bed spring back behind your shock, and then hook up your shock. Push down on your suspension here. Put your bolt in. After you get your bolt in, you're going to need a number 15 socket and ratchet and a number 17 wrench. Now we're ready to install our tires and wheels. You want to put your 25 10x12s on the rear, and you want your V pointing forward on it. Make sure you take your fingers and start your lug nuts. Don't take an impact wrench or anything like that. If you got a torque wrench, make sure you torque these about 65 to 85 pounds. Make sure they're nice and tight. Your centers just pop right in. Since I'm back here on the back already, I like to install my exhaust. You just slide right into your exhaust muffler. You got 3 hex head bolts. They're silver. Just start them, tighten them up, you're done with your muffler. Same thing as you've done in the rear. Just remove your top shock bolts, push your suspension down, just put your bolts right in. After you get one side pretty much in, your other side pretty much falls right in. Real good and easy. Same thing as the rear. Turn your V pattern towards the front. You got your 25 8x12s on the front. V pattern facing forward. I recommend pumping these tires up for the first time, putting about 30 pounds of air in them, 25 to 30, to where it really seats the bead on the tire. Let them set for about 5-6 hours, and then let them back down to about 5 pounds. The next thing you want to do is assemble your bumper. Your bumper bolts are already in your frame. These here on the bottom are number 15. These right here on the side are number 13. Just go ahead and screw them out, like so. Go ahead and start your bottom bolts first. After you get your bottom one started, just take your knee and pick up on your bumper there. You should be able to start your top ones real easy. Now that you've done got your bolts started, let's take a socket and ratchet, tighten them right up. Put our starter relay box on. Number 8 socket and ratchet, just 2 bolts. Flip her right up here and bolt it right back down. Now we got all our wires right here. We're going to install our battery box. I just recommend flipping all these wires over here to the side. These 2 bolts and nuts right here, number 8s as well. Just loosen them right up. Go ahead. You want to position your battery box down in there. There's a cutout for all your wires. Just pick your wires up, put them right through the battery box, and then just bolt it right back in. Now that we got our battery box positioned in and sturdy, you want to find your 2 winch wires. You got your positive and negative. Then you want to find your negative battery cable, untangle everything if it's tangled up, and then your positive cable. There's 2 prongs right here in your battery box that your relay just fits right down in there. Push that down in there like so. Now you're ready for your battery. We use a good Deca battery, negative battery cable. tighten your negative winch cable to your negative post on your battery. Now that you got your negative cable hooked up, go ahead and hook up your positive. Repeat the same thing, winch cable, starter cable, hook it right to the positive side of the battery. After you get all that in, go ahead and put all your relays into your battery box. You want to untangle them, and right here in the front of the battery box is all the prongs that they just slide right down on. Real simple and real neat. Now that you've got everything in that box, you're ready to put your lid on. Now you're ready to hook up your winch wires. Your positive wire goes on top. There's also a positive sign right here on the side of the winch and a negative if you're in question. Slide it right down on there, put your washer and your lock washer. Go ahead and tighten your bolt. These are number 10s. After you get them tightened, you want to put a tie strap right here. Hold everything nice and tight. Now that we got our winch installed, you want to take your 2 wires here. This right here is a low-speed vehicle UTV, so it comes with the horn and the turn signals and the key and everything on the dash. Not all of these are the same, but if you get one, you've got 2 horn wires on both sides. Let's go ahead and clip them onto the horn. It don't really matter which goes where. Now we're ready to install our hood. Just pick it up like this. Your bolts are right here in the frame. I've done removed my bolts. Just slide it right in. One person can do this. It's easier if you got 2, but I just want to show you that one person can put this machine together. Go ahead and get one started. Just drop your bolt right down in it. Then go around to the other side and start the other one. Now you're ready to put your your nuts on and tighten her up. Make sure that you get your headlight wires on the top of these brackets. Now that we got that tight, we're going to move on to the headlights. Clip them right on right there. Then you got 2 other color-coded plugs right here. You got a brown and a black. Plug your brown to brown and your black to black, and you're all set. Just repeat the same process over here on this side. Now that we got our headlights hooked up, tie strap goes right through the hole right there on the hood. Helps hold your wires out of the way. Now our UTV is starting to really take some shape. We've got the front end all finished up. Now we're ready to put our steering wheel on. Make sure your wheels are aligned straight whenever you put the steering wheel on. This steering wheel has got splines in it. Your steering column's got splines in it. Just take the spokes here, line it up straight. It's just one nut. Put your nut on and tighten it up. Now that you got your steering wheel tightened up, this right here is a little insert. It's got 3 little pop ends. It just pops right into your steering wheel here. Just line them up, give her a tap. Steering wheel is ready to go. Now we're ready for our roll cage. Make sure on the roll cage that your top bolt bracket's here. Turn to the inside, you know you're putting the right side on. Just grab your bar, start it over the rear, and it falls right in place over your front. I recommend after you do that, you take the 2 hex head bolts here. Just grab your front bar. You kind of got to push down on it a little bit. Slide them right on. Then start your nuts. On this whole roll cage, all you want to do is start all your bolts and nuts. You don't want to tighten none of them up until you get every single one started. That way it'll move around. You'll be able to get them all in real nice and easy. Back here on the rear, this bolt's a little different. You got 2 half-moon shaped washers here. And then you got this type of nut and bolt. Just like you did on the front, just start it right through. Tighten her right up. Just finger tight. Now you go over to the passenger side, repeat and do the same thing. Now we're going to install the back part of our roll cage. You're going to start by taking both of these bolts right here loose on both sides. Pull them out. Now you just put your roll bar right down in there. Just start these finger tight. Now that we got that piece in right there, we're going to start with the center of our roll cage. Just remove these 2 bolts right here. The stand here is universal, so it don't matter really which way you turn it. Start your bottom bolts right back in it. Now we're ready to move on to the back part of our roll cage. Your headrest crossover bar has also got some bolts in it. Go ahead and remove those. Turn it like so and start these bolts right here. Now that we got the center started, pull them right up here. Start both your sides in. Now you want to remove all your top bolts here and you're ready to put your top braces in. Now you're ready to put your braces in. This front brace has got a handle on it. Your back brace don't have nothing on it. One person can do this. If you got two, it's a little bit easier. You want to start your inside bolts on both sides. You don't want to start your front bolts yet. If you got a top, if you don't have a top, you can go ahead and start them both. Now you're ready to put your rear bar in. Just do the same thing. Put your inside bolt in first. Start it. It'll hang right there. Go back over on the other side. Start your other one. Now you're ready to install your top. Get your 4 little rubber bushings here. Just work them down in your top. All 4 holes. And then you got 4 of these little metal brackets here that's got a sleeve on them. Just press them right in the top there. Now I hadn't tightened none of the roll cage up yet. I just laid my top there on the top. That's the reason I left these 2 bolts out of the braces here in the top. You got some right side brackets and you got some left side brackets. Your big bolts go in these holes and then they're slotted for your little bolts in the top. All you do is take your bolt, run your bolt through, turn your metal brace up, and you're ready to bolt your brace on both sides. Now that you got your brackets assembled, take your bolts and your nuts. This is what they look like. Just slide your bolt right through the top here. Start your nut on the bottom side. Don't tighten the thing. Do the same thing in the front and repeat the same process over on the other side. Now we've got our roll cage installed properly. All you want to do now is go back and tighten all your nuts and bolts. I go back through twice and make sure I double check everything and make sure I tighten each one, and then you're ready to move on to the next. Now we're ready to install our seat belts. Take your bolt out. This bolt has got a little bit of a ledge on it. It fits right through here into that bushing. Then you have a bushing on the back side you want to insert right there. Then just simply stick it in there and start your nut on it. Takes a number 14 socket and ratchet or 2 number 14 wrenches. Alright, now you're ready to install your headrest. Take 3 bolts and 3 washers. That right there is what they look like. Just hold your headrest up like so. Start each one before you tighten it. And then go ahead and snug it right up. Now you're ready to assemble your side skirts. Right here you just want to remove these 2 Phillip head screws in the back. Go ahead and start your Phillips back in there where you took them back out. Once you get them 2 started, down on the bottom you got to start 3. Up here on the top, you got to put a screw and a nut in. Just tighten all those up. You're all set. Go to the other side over there and just repeat the same process.